Good afternoon, and welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program.
This program is brought to you by the Southwest TV Translator Association and supported by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network on DCTV.
The News at Noon program is the best assembly of news and local weather for the Four Corners region. Give us your feedback and news alerts at 677-4119.
With all that said, I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-host is Kelsey Kiesling and Jerry Tope with the weather. And now for March 30th, 2016, here's the news. According to the Cortez Journal, reported from Billings, Montana, concerns over a bird that ranges across the American West continue to delay federal oil and gas lease sales 5 months after Interior Secretary Sally Jewell proclaimed the Obama administration had found a way to balance drilling and conservation. The Interior Department announced this week it will defer the sale of almost 60,000 acres of leases that were nominated by companies in eastern Montana as it works on new policies for greater sage grouse. More than 8 million acres of leases previously were deferred in Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. It remains unclear when those will be freed up for sales or removed from consideration. Jewell said in September that Endangered Species Act protections were not needed for the grouse. It followed a sweeping overhaul of federal public land management plans to limit drilling near grouse breeding areas and allowing oil and gas exploration to proceed elsewhere. But the U.S. Bureau of Land Management still is crafting policies to put those plans into effect, agency spokesman Al Nash said. Completion of that work is several months away.
According to the Cortez Journal, the Southwestern Water Conservancy District has filed a legal challenge in water court against a new minimum flow requirement for the lower Dolores River established by the state last year. In September, the Colorado Water Conservation Board agreed to establish minimum in-stream flows up to 900 cubic feet per second in spring on the Dolores River between the confluence of the San Miguel River and Gateway. The new flow standards on the 34-mile stretch are intended to help river health, including 3 species of native fish: the flannel mouth sucker, blue head sucker, and round-tail chub. Local water boards objected to the new standard, arguing that the flows were too high and could not be met in drought conditions. In addition, there was fear that water stored in the upstream McPhee Reservoir could be used to meet the standard. But the CWCB denied their appeal, and the minimum flow plan for the lower Dolores River was approved. In December, SWCD responded by filing a lawsuit in Colorado's Division 4 Water Court in Montrose to try and overturn or modify the flow allocation. Their lawsuit claims CWCB's action on the lower Dolores River exceeds the ISF's statutory standard of minimum stream flows to preserve the natural environment, and that it does not protect present uses of the water. It further states that the new in-stream flow is inconsistent with CWCB's statutory responsibility to develop water for beneficial and future use for state residents, and that the new standard is inconsistent with CWCB's appropriation of an in-stream flow regime on the San Miguel River. The new in-stream flows for lower Dolores River begin below the San Miguel confluence are as follows: minimum flows of 200 CFS from March 16th to April 14th, 900 CFS from April 15th to June 14th, 400 CFS from June 15th to July 15th, and 200 CFS from July 16th to August 14th, and 100 CFS from August 15th to March 15th.
And in the category of here's another article from the Gold King mine story, the Durango Herald writes that the owner of the Gold King mine said Monday the Environmental Protection Agency again forced him to sign an access agreement through 2016 for several private mining claims, prolonging a land dispute that began in 2014. On March 4th, Gold King mine owner Todd Hennis signed a consent for access to property, which allows the federal agency to continue work on the private parcels in the mining district north of Silverton. In 2014, the federal agency decided acid mine discharges out of the Gold King had gotten so bad it would begin a remediation project. Hennis also claimed at that time he was coerced to allow the EPA access to his land. Hennis told the Durango Herald in a previous interview, the EPA decided it was too big a job for that year, so they piled many, many tons of earth and rock on the portal to, quote, prevent a blowout during the winter. In doing so, they created the blowout conditions this year in 2015. On August 5, 2015, an EPA contracted crew breached the portal of the Gold King, releasing 3 million gallons of water laden with heavy metals. The incident triggered an action Hennis has long opposed, a request for Superfund designation. San Juan County and Silverton also were bulldozed by the lack of effective legal checks on the EPA's actions, Hennis wrote of the decision to pursue the EPA's hazardous cleanup program. The proposed Superfund site, called the Bonita Peak Mining District, includes 48 mining-related sites around the town of Silverton. As part of the agreement, the EPA has full access to Hennis's land, which includes the right to construct pipelines, setting ponds, and a water treatment facility, as well as any other actions the EPA determines are necessary. The fact that EPA takes an average of 6 years on research before remedial actions begin is worrisome for the 56-year-old Hennis. The EPA has said smaller, less complex sites may be eligible for early action. However, the mines draining into Cement Creek, a tributary of the Animas River, account for a significant portion of metal loading. EPA officials said planned research in the spring and summer will provide insight as to which treatment the agency will pursue. In the meantime, Hennis said he has not filed a lawsuit against the EPA, again citing a wariness over the agency's limitless budget. Hennis wrote, "The best I could do in this situation was to limit the time and hopefully have an improvement left on the property at the end."
According to the Cortez Journal, ahead of Mancos High School's prom weekend, school officials have scheduled a mock crash designed to give teenagers some tools to avoid distracted driving situations. The demonstration will take place April 14th at 9 a.m. on Beach Street between the middle school and the Performing Arts Center on the campus. Authorities will be on scene participating in the event, including ambulances and a helicopter. The Mancos Fire Department is donating 2 crashed cars for use in the demonstration, Principal Adam Priestley said. The school also is collaborating with Mancos Police, the Colorado State Patrol, and Flight for Life. Priestley said the goal is to make it as realistic as possible so that students will feel the impact as if it were a real crash. Colorado State Patrol Sergeant James Saunders is coordinating the demonstration. He said law enforcement agencies often put on mock crashes during high school prom season. It's unfortunately the time of year for increased crashes involving teen drivers, he said. Mancos High School's prom takes place April 16th, just 2 days after the demonstration. Beach Street will be closed off as the mock crash is staged involving 2 cars. 8 students will sustain injuries from the crash, and 1 victim will be pronounced dead at the crash site. After the crash demonstration, students will move to the gym where state troopers will notify family members of the deceased mock crash victim. From there, the production will move into a mock funeral for the victim, Priestley said. After the dramatization portion, state troopers will give a presentation on good driving. After that presentation, middle and high school students will be bused to Dolores for a Think Fast assembly. The Think Fast program involves an interactive learning game show style approach to safe driving awareness, Priestley said. Mancos students will be broken into groups with students from Dolores and Dove Creek as part of that, he said. Mancos High School doesn't offer driver's education for students, Priestley said. So when the opportunity came to stage a mock crash, school staff members thought it was a great idea.
From thedailycamera.com, a bill to extend the bear hunting season in Colorado by adding the month of August was voted down, then postponed indefinitely in a House committee on Monday, meaning that the bill is not destined to go forward in this year's session. House Bill 1220 had been introduced by State Representative Yulin Willett, Republican from Grand Junction, as a means to reduce human-bear conflicts in the state of Colorado. Opponents questioned whether it would truly have any impact on reducing the most commonly reported conflicts, such as bears invading homeowners' trash in foothills and suburban communities. The bill was read Monday in House State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee and voted down 5-4, according to Colorado Parks and Wildlife spokesman Matt Robbins. The bear hunting season in Colorado currently runs September through December. It had included August until 1992, when hunting of bears in that month was banned by Colorado voters. Willett had put the bill forward, believing that the increasing frequency of incidents between people and bears in recent years called for a reconsideration of the state's approach on the issue.
According to the Cortez Journal, street sweepers are starting runs in Cortez, picking up sand and salt from the winter months. In the spring, sweeper operators clean streets around town as needed, focusing on downtown areas and moving outward. Now they're also sweeping streets in preparation for painting of center lines, crosswalks, and bike lanes. The city's May through October residential street sweeping schedule is as follows. For the first week of the month, they will sweep north side of Main Street from Montezuma Avenue to Empire Street and from Broadway to Park Street. They will sweep streets north of Empire Street from Austin Street to Ridge Drive. In the second week of the month, sweep south side of Main Street from 1st Street to 7th Street and from Broadway Street to Mesa View subdivision. They will also sweep Verde View subdivision and Market, Chestnut and 10th Streets south of 7th Street. For the third week of the month, they will sweep from Mildred Road to North Dolores Road, including subdivisions north of Empire Street. And for the fourth week of the month, they will sweep Rolling Road, Center Street, and Fairway Drive. They will also sweep streets south of East Main Street and east of North Dolores Road, and Edith Street north of McDonald's, and Colorado 145 to Alamosa Street. They will also sweep Brandon's Gate. From May to October, one sweeper operator works from 4 a.m. to 12:30 a.m., and the other sweeper operator works 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The operators deposit sweepings at the City Service Center in the Industrial Park, where it is stored until it is taken to the Montezuma County landfill. Loads of about 10 yards are taken to the landfill once or twice a week. In 2014, the city took 936 yards to the landfill, costing $8,713. In 2015, the city transported 984 yards, which cost $9,151. So far in 2016, the city has taken 130 yards of sweepings to the landfill, which has cost $1,274. And now, here's our weather report.
Snow will be falling on the mountains today. Snow advisories are still in effect until this evening. Although the strongest part of the system is now east of the Four Corners, there's still one last cell that's passing over us now that left snow and Blanding this morning. This cell is still expected to leave less than 1 inch, and by about 7 p.m. this cell should have finished with the area. And those advisories should end with this last cell and mean more snow in the mountains as it passes over east of us. Some drying will occur tonight and into Thursday, but moisture coming in from the north will increase tomorrow morning, mainly in the mountains in the northern part of the state. The robust upper energy level that brought the moisture yesterday to lower altitudes than expected will still keep us cool today and tomorrow as the system's westernmost limits are still to pass through. A strong storm over the Central Plains will slowly move northeastward into parts of Ontario by Thursday evening. Moisture is streaming northward from the western Gulf of Mexico into the upper Midwest and will move eastward to the northeast by Thursday evening. Showers and thunderstorms will develop along and ahead of the associated front over the southern and central plains that will move eastward to the lower Great Lakes and the lower Mississippi Valley by Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms will also develop over parts of the southern mid-Atlantic to the southeast on Thursday afternoon into the evening. The rain that has developed over parts of the northern and central plains to the upper Great Lakes this morning will move eastward to the northern Appalachians and northern mid-Atlantic by tomorrow evening. Rain will continue with some areas turning into snow tomorrow over parts of the upper Mississippi Valley and the upper Great Lakes through tonight and into Thursday evening. Upper level energy over the Great Basin into the central Rockies will trigger snow over the region and expand into parts of the central and high plains by this evening. Overnight, the snow over the central plains will end briefly. Additionally, by this evening, another region of upper level energy over South central Canada will move southward over the northern high plains, curving into the central plains by Thursday evening. Rain and snow will develop and will change over to all snow by late tonight in the northern plains. The snow will expand into the northern and central Rockies and central high plains on Thursday afternoon into evening. Upper level energy over Florida will produce showers and thunderstorms through parts of that state today. Thursday and Friday are still looking to be in the lower 50s, but take a look at Saturday and Sunday and Monday's lower 60s into the higher 60s. Wonderful. Some models say this weekend into Monday will be the warmest daytime temperatures of the year so far. Nighttime temps are no surprise for this time of year though, and will range from the low 20s to just below and near freezing Sunday night, with Monday night being 3 degrees above freezing. Partly sunny tomorrow, with the following 4 days mostly sunny, and winds will be normal, and after the last few days will feel pretty near perfect. And now back to the Kelsey with more news.
According to the Cortez Journal, everyone needs advanced directives, says Hospice of Montezuma Marketing Director Michelle Cameron. That term refers to a written statement of one's healthcare treatment wishes, designed to have those wishes carried out should one be unable to communicate with a doctor. An advanced directive statement, sometimes called an advanced care plan, often includes a person's living will and is composed with a physician based on one's personal healthcare needs, Cameron said. It's never too early to set up advanced directives. Family members or friends will know what your wishes are through your advance directives should a crisis situation arise when you can't speak for yourself. Several speakers will talk advance directives and other aspects of healthcare as Hospice of Montezuma's celebrates National Healthcare Decisions Day on April 23rd. The event takes place at Cortez Conference Center at Destination Grill starting at 8 p.m. It's free and open to the public, but limited spots are available and an RSVP is requested by April 15th. Physician Lynn Nauman will speak on the medical aspects of advanced directives, and attorney Keenan Lovett will discuss legal aspects. Other speakers will discuss healthcare issues, including finances, communication, and funeral planning at the event.
From the Denver Post, a proposed ballot initiative and an amendment to a bill in the State House would cap the THC potency of recreational cannabis and marijuana products at a percentage below most of those products' current averages. The initiative would limit the potency of marijuana and marijuana products to 15 or 16% THC. The average potencies of Colorado pot products are already higher, 17.1% for cannabis flowers and 62.1% for marijuana extracts, according to a state study. Supporters of the legislation, introduced by Republican State Representative Kathleen Conti, said they are being cautious until more research has been done on protecting the brain development of adolescents. The THC limiting measures have the support of Smart Colorado, a group focused on youth amid cannabis commercialization, even though it is illegal for those under 21 to possess or partake in THC recreationally. Henny Lastly of Smart Colorado said, concentrates are of course what are put into marijuana edibles, and we have well over 300 of those food products, many of which are attractive to children. Opponents say the measures are unreasonable and could squash some of the legal cannabis industry's most popular categories. Mark Slaw, executive director of the Cannabis Business Alliance, said he considers the proposed THC limit unconstitutional and that such a cap would send patients and recreational users to the gray and black markets. Josh Hindi, whose Dabble Extracts is a medical-only concentrates company looking to expand to the recreational side, said such a THC limit would remove concentrates in total from any kind of retail operation. The first THC capping proposal is a ballot initiative that would limit the potency of cannabis products to 16%, would require everything to be sold in a child-resistant, opaque, resealable package, and would require edibles to be packaged and sold only in single-serving amounts. It would amend the state constitution and would apply only to retail marijuana, not medical. To qualify for the ballot, the proposed initiative must navigate a series of hearings, and then proponents must collect that magic number of 98,492 signatures from registered Colorado voters. The second THC limiting proposal is an amendment to HB 1261, a sunset bill that reauthorizes rules that are set to expire. It would, among other things, eliminate a requirement that licensees post bonds and create new licenses for retail marijuana transport and retail marijuana operator. The bill was heard by the House Finance Committee on Thursday. The committee laid the bill over without taking a vote. According to the latest House calendar Monday, the bill has not yet been rescheduled for a vote in the Finance Committee.
According to the Cortez Journal, Mancos School Board members on Monday told Montezuma School to Farm project staffers that they might not be able to help fund the project in 2017. School to Farm runs 3 student gardens, one each in Mancos, Dolores, and Cortez. Staff members provide education on gardening, conservation, healthy eating, active lifestyles, and sustainability for students in those districts. The produce students help to grow in the gardens is often served with lunch in school cafeterias. On Monday, the project's director, Zoe Nelson, said Mancos School Board members asked Mancos School Board members to contribute $6,000 toward the program's 2017 budget, which totals just under $84,000. Much of that budget is supported through various grants, but participating school districts contribute too. Garden educator Erin Baum said at Monday's meeting. Board members told Nelson and Baum they valued the School to Farm project and saw the benefit in its services, but they didn't make any promises about funding the program. Board President Blake Mitchell said the State Department of Education will be decreasing funding for the district in that year. Nelson said she would do all she could to persuade the board to contribute funds or look for another way, possibly a grant, to raise the money for the program. She said she hoped the collaboration could continue between the project and the Mancos School District. Board member Monty Giles said that about 5 years ago, when the School to Farm project started, board members were led to believe the district would not have to contribute money towards it. Every year since then, Giles said the project has asked for more money. Baum said one reason for that increase is that the grant application process has become more competitive over the past 5 years. Many grants are more likely awarded to programs that have received contributions from school districts, Baum said. Grant administrators like to see some level of commitment from the districts. Baum and Nelson left the meeting without a definite answer from the board.
According to the Durango Herald, the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad is heading into a year of expansion with the reopening of the Grand Imperial Hotel, a new general manager, and a fresh event to replace RailFest. D&SNG owner Al Harper also bought the Mount Rainier Railroad and Logging Museum in Washington on February 1st, and he plans to make it profitable once again. This is Harper's third railroad. The Mount Rainier Railroad was formerly a nonprofit, and its primary donor asked Harper to buy the train to continue his legacy and make it self-sustaining. As part of the expansion, John Harper was promoted to general manager of the railroad in Durango. Former general manager Paul Schrank is now the senior vice president of operations over all 3 railroads. John Harper has worked under Schrank's tutelage for 6 years, but he started working for the railroad as a teenager, and he has experience in all the Durango Railroad departments. He also worked for the D&SNG's sister companies, Rail Events, Inc., and the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad in North Carolina, which are all owned by American Heritage Railways. Mount Rainier is owned separately by Al Harper, John's father. His brother, Jim Harper, as the president of American Heritage Railway Hotels, is overseeing the remodel of the Grand Imperial Hotel in Silverton. A company controlled by Al Harper bought the Grand Imperial Hotel last year for $1.6 million. The grand opening is scheduled for May 7th. Visitors will be able to book a trip on the train and a night at the hotel for a vacation that invokes life back in the 1880s. The Grand Imperial on Green Street will not be a plush replication of the Strater Hotel. Instead, it will reflect its history. The DIA and SNG will work with organizers in Silverton who host the Hard Rockers Holiday to put on the Rail Rockers at the same time in August instead of Railfest. The Hard Rockers Holiday was a day off for miners to take a break and hold competitions related to their trade, such as using a steel rod and sledgehammer to drill a hole in the rock. The Hard Rockers Holidays have continued on and off since. The traditional events will continue, and the train will run special trains during the event. Rail Rockers will be longer than Hard Rockers, and the event trains will include murder mystery performances on board, a champagne brunch train, and sunset cocktail train. An 1895 locomotive, the number 315, brought back to Durango in 2010, will also provide short trips during Rail Rockers.
And now the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of March 21st through 27th. A deputy performed traffic control on Highway 491 where a farm tractor was having mechanical problems and partially blocking a lane of traffic. Dispatch forwarded a report of trespassing to San Miguel County. An individual requested assistance in unlocking their vehicle. A deputy responded and successfully opened the car. The sheriff's office received reports of dogs running loose in town. Animal control was notified. That's it for this week's Roundup. Stay tuned next week for more updates.
In today's High Country happenings, in Monticello, Utah, 2 local authors will be featured at a Ladies' Night Out event at the San Juan Record Bookstore on Saturday, April 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. at 49 South Main Street in Monticello. Josie Brewer Russell will sign copies of Guardians, her sequel to the best-selling Caretaker, and Annie Miller will sign copies of Naked Nutrition. In addition, there will be door prizes for every guest, drawing great sales on a wide range of books and treats. The 16th annual Four Corners Home and Garden Show will be held Friday, April 8th and Saturday the 9th at the Montezuma County Fairgrounds in Cortez. Admission is $3 or $1 for seniors over 65. Kids 12 and under are free, and free parking is available. For all the details, go online to www.fourcornershomeandgardenshow.com. Along with that event, on Saturday of the show, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., there will be a classic car show. Cars will be coming from the local areas as well as surrounding states to participate in the show. Each car is unique, and all of the cars in the show have been restored and they are maintained by their owners. So go to the west outdoor area of the main pavilion and see these one-of-a-kind cars. And for my end note, Friday will be April 1st. Have you wondered why people call it April Fool's Day? According to History.com, the day is also called All Fool's Day and has been celebrated for several centuries by different cultures, though its exact origins remain a mystery. Some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back to 1582, when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar as called for by the Council of Trent in 1563. People who were slow to get the news or failed or refused to recognize that the start of the new year had been moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st became the butt of jokes and hoaxes. Historians have also linked April Fool's Day to ancient festivals such as Hilaria, which was celebrated in Rome at the end of March and involved people dressing up in disguises. There's also speculation that April Fool's Day was tied to the vernal equinox or first day of spring in the northern hemisphere, when Mother Nature fooled people with changing unpredictable weather. There's probably much more to the coming month of April, celebrating Aries, god of war, astrologically the sign of the goat, and all of the unsettling happenings of the rebirth of nature in the springtime. So just something to think about and look up. We'd love to share information about what's happening to support all of the regional groups and individuals and communities, so please let us know your event by sending an email to dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119. And we're adding all of the High Country happenings to our Facebook page.
Again, thanks for tuning in. This program is aired live at noon and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. on Channel 32.1 Dolores County, on Channel 30.4 in Montezuma County, and their cable Channel 5.
And you can also rewatch the broadcasts on YouTube at the DCTV News at Noon channel. And please like us on DCTV News at Noon Facebook page and follow us on Twitter.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and all those who are working to bring you DCTV and the News at Noon program from Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. See you next time.